that someone is there or even got an eye on what's going on. You can't. There's so much stuff that people can't stop, but can certainly be aware of, and might be able to call the authorities or whatever is needed at a point before it gets horrible. Those are just my thoughts on that.
In your training, have you been given any information as to why this would occur, or do you have to hazard a guess, or how does that work?
Well, a lot of times when someone's experiencing a dysfunction, and there's a stigma about that I would really like to voice my opinion on as well. There's a stigma out there that if there is a dysfunction in a family or a dysfunction, someone has a dysfunction of some sort, they become ashamed. They don't want to talk about it. They hide things. Things don't happen just like that. You just don't. You're not born into the world, and God doesn't send you into the world and says, okay, you're going to have this dysfunction. You're going to be, just a horrible drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever. Things, a lot of times something has caused that. I always said that the entry drug has always been trauma. And I find that most of the people that I work with that have had issues have suffered multiple traumas. Some of them may seem insignificant, but still affects them. So our minds, our brain is an organ, just like any other organ in your body, your heart, your liver, your kidney, your gallbladder. They're just organs. Your brain's an organ, and they all fall to dis-ease. So when the body's not in balance, when the mind isn't in balance, there's dis-ease. And with that comes symptoms, just like anything else. And it's not the symptoms that you treat. You have to treat the cause. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people are always looking to do. I know my mom goes to the doctor and he gives her, she's on like 14 medications. Half of them I'm not a doctor, but half of them from the research that I've done, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe anybody would put somebody on this. Is it useful? I don't know, because like I said, I'm not a doctor, but from the research and the doctors that I value, their opinion and listen to makes sense. Having dealt with my own health issues, they make way more sense, especially since those are the things that have been able to help me. So there's this stigma out there that we think that, if you treat the symptoms, the problem goes away. And that's not necessarily true. If you don't get to the root of the problem, you're not going to be effective. It's like, you don't push a tree over in the yard because you want it over a few feet, and you don't lean against it and push it. If you don't remove it from the roots and pick it up and move it, then it's not coming. You're just hitting the surface. And what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to clear things from under the surface, below conscious awareness, and not at the surface, because you can clean off the weeds, but if you don't get the roots, they're coming back. So that's more in line with what I've been trained to do.
Okay, but would you use the word cure at any point?
Use the word kill?
Cure, C-U-R-E.
Oh, cure.
Yes.
Well, I don't believe if you have a kidney failure or an autoimmune disease, in my eyes, I when as I get better, I guess you could call it curing, but I'm bringing more into balance my system so that it can function where it's supposed to function. I don't think that we cure, I don't think people are in pieces. I don't think we're broken. I think that we need to really, um, when someone's mind has a dysfunction or a glitch, it's like your phone or your computer when it has a glitch. Is you don't have to scrap the computer if it needs an update. I don't need to remodel my kitchen if I have a clog in my sink. Those are just things that are stuck. They're causing emotions, reactions, and those emotions and actions are designed to resolve an issue. If the person isn't aware of how to resolve the issue, it can come off as dysfunctional. So I don't know that it's really curing. I think it's bringing back into harmony and balance the mind and the body.
Okay. What else would you like to tell us about, tips on what we can do to be I promote journaling a lot, and I remember posting something about journaling, and you said that sometimes that doesn't work. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So our minds, they have a saying in neuroscience that thoughts that wire together, fire together. In other words, the more you think on something, the more you're hardwiring those thoughts into your mind. I have cows out in my field, and I can tell you exactly where they walk through my field. There's a pathway through my field. If that pathway isn't serving a purpose, it wouldn't be useful for the cows to be going down it. So in order for me to shift that, I would have to cause them to go a different direction. I would have to cause them to think to go in a different direction. The more we utilize that pathway that is not useful, the deeper we're creating a trench. We're kind of embedding that into our minds, and so that's only going to increase the depth of that way of thinking about something. Now, if I have my cows where I can train them to, or have them veer off and go another way that I think would be more useful, they might, kind of hesitate at first. They might still try to go down the old pathway, but I would have to continue to divert them towards the other pathway. Once I get them going down that other pathway, then that pathway starts to deepen and embed itself. So after a while, they would just automatically go down the new pathway, and the old pathway would grow over. So our minds are very much like that. When we're focused on something that's disturbing, let's say someone who is feeling bad about something, and it's hard for people. I mean, people just don't switch off. They're so in tune with what's going on and what's in their face. Like the pandemic here, I can't get out and work, and they can't get out and work, but their mind is so focused on that I can't get out and work. Focusing on the problem is not the solution.
Okay, so last time I'm not sure if we got into this or not, but how do people find you? I don't mean your phone number or anything like that, although we're going to get that. But how do people find you? Do you come by referral or what?
Most of the time they are referrals. I also am on the Rapid Resolution Therapy website. They have a list of practitioners, and if people go to Rapid Resolution Therapy, there's the website. There's a list of practitioners, there's probably about 500 practitioners that do RRT. So it's not a very it's not a very commonly known modality. A lot of my colleagues practice it, even though they're told not to. They utilize it as EMDR in their clinics, because the clinics don't want what they call not evidence-based stuff, and I probably shouldn't even have said all that, but there is certainly tons of evidence out there. It's just never been collected properly, and the hoops are quite a bit inexpensive to hoop through. There is 2 studies going on now, one in the University of South Florida in Sarasota with OWR, Operation Warrior Resolution. It's a non-for-profit run by a colleague of mine and friend, Kendra Simpkins. She deals with veterans who have what we call PTSD. We call it PTS, post-traumatic stress. We don't believe it's a disorder in RRT. And they also have another one out in Colorado that another one of my colleagues is also putting together for, but RRT's been actually really around for probably 30 or more years, probably 40 years. Dr. Conley developed it. He's been doing it quite a few years and has been training probably well into 30 years plus. Just has never been a big push for making it as well known. But it is a revolutionary, compared to the therapies out there. It's a revolutionary, fast. It's gentle, and the beauty of it is that the client doesn't have to relive their event that was disturbing. That's one reason a lot of people don't like to go for therapy. They don't want to talk about it. And as I said, as the more you talk about it, the more neural pathways.
Okay, we have to stop. I'm sorry, we have to stop because we are over time,
Oh,
and
no,
I know this is a topic that we have to talk about. But very quickly, can you give your information to find you, your phone number?
Yes, you can. Excuse me. You can reach me at Donna Satiro 58@gmail.com. That's DONNA SATIRO 58@gmail.com. Or you can call me at 941-465-7699.
All right. Thank you again. We are a little bit over time, so I apologize for that. But thank you again for being our guest. Okay, and thank you for listening to Jadoo Lifestyle Podcast.